Adobe just announced a new update for Lightroom CC Lightroom 6 that adds in a free feature that improves the way it processes panoramas. Just wanted to show you how it worked really quickly. In Lightroom here, I have a 3-shot panorama. You can see Machu Picchu here rotating to the left. I'll select all 3 of these, right-click them, select Photo Merge, and then select Panorama. Now it's going to examine the pictures, and hopefully this works. Sometimes it doesn't work, and you end up having to take out some of the pictures. It can be rather unreliable. And this is what you normally see by default with the cylindrical projection. You see this white space around the edges. And I always tell people when they make panoramas to take way more pictures than you need, to shoot way wider, to take an extra row, an extra column of pictures, because you always get this sort of wobbly space at the edge, and the easiest thing to do is just to crop it out. So it's better to have too much space. In this particular picture, I can click auto crop and it will crop it down, but now it's too tight because now I'm cropping into the top of this tree here. So my usual process is to bring this whole thing into Photoshop and then select the outside edges and use content aware fill to fill it in because, well, this is just blue sky, so that's easy to fill in. Same over here. This is all pretty easy to fill in. And that, therefore, I don't have to crop if I didn't remember to take those extra pictures. The new feature in Lightroom is boundary warp. So you see this slider here that wasn't here before. Now it's at 0, which means it's doing nothing. If I drag it to the right, you'll see what happens is it stretches the corners of the pictures out to fill this sort of square profile. And as I get all the way to 100, it fills in the entire frame. So that's with boundary warp. You can see the top of the tree here is not cropped. Terribly useful, and actually seems to work much better than content aware fill did in Photoshop. This definitely makes the panorama feature in Lightroom better. I still find it to be flaky. As I prepared this example, I had to go through a couple of different panoramas to find one that would open reliably because I get a lot of just random errors or Lightroom won't process it. So I'll click merge now, and you can see Lightroom will stitch these together. And the great thing about Lightroom is these are raw files from the Sony Alpha 7R Mark II, and the stitched together panorama will still be a raw file. So I'll be able to recover highlights that were completely blown out and would have been lost in JPEG files. That's features that were in Lightroom Panorama software before. I'm just talking about it because this is a live broadcast and I'm waiting for Lightroom to finally finish processing it. This is why when in cooking shows, you know how they already have the finished product done and then they just jump to it. Okay, so it seems like Lightroom has finished it. Here is the final merged panorama, and you can see at the edges, there's no weird artifacts from it. It's still rendering the preview, that's why it's loading. But overall, it looks much better than it would have any other way, and it turned out pretty good. So thank you, Adobe, for that update. Oh, if you want to learn more about Lightroom, check out my book. You can pick it up at Amazon or sdp.io/store. It has over 14 hours of video in it. So $9.99, you can get all that video and an actual book, watch the videos, read the book, or do both, whichever your preferred way of learning is. Thanks, subscribe, share, etc.